Next to the moving in the tissues in plants. Now we will be discussing about the permanent tissues. That is first it was a meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues are tissues which have the capacity to generate into any part of the plant. And after one part has moved, any one of the meristems have got a different function, they started to differentiate means they will concentrate into one's particular function with some particular structure. Like that, one arrowed cell is known as the permanent tissue. And this permanent tissue means they will never further divide, their growth is over with that. And these permanent tissues are divided into two. One is known as the simple permanent tissue and the complex tissues. Simple permanent tissues means these are the tissues which have few layers, and they are responsible for the uh, packing of tissues. That means protection and other things they are taking care. And the simple permanent tissues have different functions. In some cases the simple permanent tissues uh, have cells within the cell wall. They are living cells, and they are usually loosely packed. These are the main characteristic. That means they are living, they are loosely packed. Since they have space in between, what will happen, they, apart from protection, they can further do some other functions. For example, it may have some chlorophyll inside that. If the chlorophyll is present, it is known as chlorenchyma. And sometimes these simple permanent tissues may can hold air inside that. Especially these type of tissues are found in the plants that lives in water, otherwise known as hydrophytes. they they help in the buoyancy means they help them to float on the surface. So those type of parenchymatous tissues are known as erenchyma. Apart from that, there are two more. One is known as collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Collenchymatous tissues are tissues which have cell wall thickenings are there. This B diagram is of that. And cell wall thickening will be there, nucleus will be present, and they will be having vacuoles, that is empty space in between. And they are responsible for the flexibility of the plant. For example, if you have seen the stalk of the leaf, the stalk of the leaf is made up of collenchymatous tissues. That is the reason why whenever the wind is blowing, the leaf will bend to the direction to which the wind is blowing, but the leaf will never pluck off from that particular branch. So those type of tissues, that stalk of the leaf, are made up of collenchymatous tissues, and these are the main function of this collenchymatous cells. That is, they will give flexibility to the particular living tissues. And next one, it is known as the sclerenchymatous tissues. These sclerenchymatous tissues are very hard, and they are very rigid. Since they are very rigid and hard, they are used for thickening of any. For example, the best example goes to this is the coconut husk. Coconut husk is made up of sclerenchymatous, and they are very dead. They are really dead. Since they are dead, they are hard and stiff. They can give an extra protection to the living tissues. And these sclerenchyma, since they are hard, thick, and they are weightless, that means they don't have much weight, but they are very stiff and hard. This is the one of the main reason why these coconuts have the capacity to float on the surface of water. This is one among the reason why they are floating on the surface of the water. And this sclerenchyma can give extra protection to the vascular bundles, veins of the leaf, and it can provide strength to the different parts of the plant. So these are the main functions of this sclerenchyma. Apart from this simple permanent tissue, and most of the simpler permanent tissues forms the epidermis of any type of a living plant cell, and this epidermis of a living plant cell protects the plant from the invasion of any type of bacteria they will be having. To protect that, they will be having secretions, waxy secretions on it, and it will don't allow much water to go in. That also will be provided by that waxy coating, and they will protect the plant from the loss of water, invasion of parasites, fungus, and other things they are helping. And on this epidermis, for example, epidermis of a leaf, on the epidermis of a leaf there are small pores are there. Those pores are called as stomata, and these stomata are kidney shaped cells. They are protected by guard cells. They are protected by guard cells, and they are very much useful for the exchange of gases. And transpiration is one among the process that takes place to the stomata. This is the In order to stop the excess transpiration, that means the in order to stop the excess of the transpiration, the stomatas will be closed during the mid sunny days, that means after 12, and most of the time stomatas will be open early in the morning and late in the evening. Wherever the high temperature is there, the stomatas will be closed, and more transpiration will be there with a high temperature and a mild breeze. If mild breeze and high temperature is there, there will be more loss of water. Those times the stomatas will be closed, and stomatas are the only area through which the exchange of gas takes place. That means carbon dioxide will go inside for the process of photosynthesis, and oxygen will be comes out after the process of photosynthesis. These exchange of gases also takes place in the through stomata, and these stomatal pores can be seen on the epidermis. Apart from that, these root epidermal tissues are responsible for the absorption of water. They absorbs more water, and they have some hair like projections from the main root, from the taproot system, and these hair like projections will give more surface area, and it will hold the soil, surrounding soil. Since it will hold the surrounding soil, they can absorb more water, water. And in some cases this desert plants epidermis has very thick waxy coating will be there on the surface, and these waxy coating is responsible for the they are known as cutins, and they are responsible, they will protect this plant from loss of water. That means they work as a waterproof agent. And apart from this outer layer of these trees like cork, bark, they all are epidermal tissues, and they are dead, and they are very compactly arranged, and they in between them, for example, if you want to get a cork, that means the outer epidermal tissues of this plant cells bark will die, and in between this bark gaps, suberin, a chemical will be secreted, and this tuberin will make them very hard and impervious to gas and water. That is the main reason why they are using this as a cork, especially for the packing of wines. They are using cork cells, and it doesn't mean that the cork cells don't have holes. They have natural holes, very narrow natural holes, very narrow and natural holes. Through that, the fermentation or fermentive after fermentation of wine or any other things, gases will be put, these gases will be exchanged through that. Along with that, they will give a very stiff covering. This is the reason why they are using cork to close the wine bottles. And these corks are made up of from the epidermis, that is simple permanent tissues. So these are the main things you have to study from this. In the notes, I have given in a very small content, and all the diagram that is present inside this textbook are important. These can be asked for your exams. Can be asked for your exams. They may ask you to draw, or they may ask you to identify the diagrams. Then you have to write some characters about this. That's all. They don't ask anything more from this. So please go through this, and if you have any doubts, come back to me by giving any comment. And next class we will be moved through this complex tissue, that is xylem and phloem, which is responsible for conducting water. After that we will move through these animal tissues. Thank you, and further any doubts, please comment below.